Drew. Oh, Drew, he's funny. Hello, everyone. It's sure a pleasure to spend time with you again. Always is. I hope I'm getting your questions. I got so many here to go over. It's not even funny. But I hope you're doing well, everyone. And allness or nothingness, or are they the same? All right, I want to keep on going. It's cold down here. It was 40, 43 this morning, maybe 42. That was cold. That's like below zero for Alaskans. Oh, man. Hey, Chad. Hi, Dr. Morse. Thanks for reading and answering. Oh, I think I read this yesterday, didn't it? Yeah, I did. Beating me fun. Yeah, I read this yesterday. Thank you so much. Sometimes Chris double. They come off double for some reason. This is Billi, B-I-L-L-I, Billi, Billi, a different way. Hi, Doc. Thank you for all your amazing vids. Thank you, Billi. I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I apologize about that. Thank you. Appreciate the love there. Long story short, I am 30 years Aussie, female with no children. Oh, I have decided to become an egg donor for my sister-in-law, who is 42. Well, that's nice of you, honey. And has been trying to fall pregnant for the last 3 years. Okay. So, is the problem with her, or is the problem with the male? If the problem is with your sister, you might find it better if she will work on a couple of things. The female reproductive formula is a toning formula for ovaries and uterus, but it also has a pituitary formula in there. And you have to consider that she has a pituitary problem. If the problem is with her, and she's not, she doesn't have regular menses, she has irregular menses, the chances of her aborting this somewhere along the line is strong, even with your egg. So this is the thing you have to look at, is her ability to hold and conceive. Her ability to hold and conceive. You can always fix the male too. You can fix everybody. That's the issue. But if you have to be a donor, imagine then the baby and the genes with the baby, because nothing's been fixed. So if it's a female baby and even a male baby, they could have serious gonadal problems. If it's a pituitary that's causing the problem, then you're continually going down a serious line, because as the pituitary goes down in genetics, so does everything else. Thyroids, parathyroids, urinations, all kinds of things that the pituitary controls, which is a whole bunch of things, and that whole part of the brain. So I would go after fixing her. Get her on a raw diet, get her on the female reproductive formula for a few months. If we have to do glandulars for pituitaries or whatever, there's even gonadal, there's a female formula, glandulars for the ovaries and stuff. Sometimes you have to wake things up a little bit because of this genetic consciousness that we're in so much. I've been working on my lymph, adrenals, and kidneys with your herbs from ourbotanical.com and raw oranges, watermelon. You're kicking butt. Now your sister needs to kick it with you, because she's the one that has the problem. So she really needs to fix this. But you're going to have some strong, genes there to pass. But it would be better if your sister would get into her own world of health and, rebuild her own self here. Before that, I was raw till 4, which did not work out well for me at all. I have now included endocrine gland formula smart. This is right. You guys are smart. I just love you guys. You guys are getting so smart. I was just having a big session with Marcy on this, because we're putting up frequency levels of foods so you can understand the physics side of this whole thing as well. Because people, there's still people that understand raw overcooked. I find that amazing, that you can't understand that raw food is so much better for you than cooked. That cooking destroys chemistry. Water solubles are destroyed. Oils and proteins bonded. I mean, it creates beasts of another color chemically. And so anyone that could even possibly think cooking a food makes it better is delusional. So when you're looking at raw foods, you know, there's frequencies, electromagnetic frequencies. And in a book, Secret Life of Plants by Christopher Bird and Tom Tompkins, back in the 70s, I think, great book, they were measuring frequencies of foods and plants and everything else, which I thought was great information and could be definitely expounded upon, showing you the frequency levels difference between a fruit and a vegetable. Because if you look at a fruit, and I put this in my book, the fruit they claim gives off around 12,000 units or angstroms, whatever you want to call it, of energy, where a vegetable only gives off 9,000. Well, a Homo sapien gives off around 6,800 angstroms of energy, and that's not a real healthy one, but around 68, say 7,000. You're still 2,000. An average human is still electrically 2,000 angstroms less than a vegetable. So vegetables, raw vegetables, make you feel better because they lift up your energy. Remember the law of homeostasis. Everything seeks a balance. That's why I'm always talking about balance, because either end of the scale is not good. You know, too negative is not good, and too positive isn't good either. That balance is really important there. And you see that in physics. And it's just, we're putting up this so you can see the electrical properties. It's in my book, but the electrical properties of foods. And then someone is out there saying, I just have no energy and I'm tired. We know it's the adrenals, but we also know this is the person that's eating cooked foods and dead animals, which has no electricity left at all. You cook animal meat raw is full of magnetics, but you cook the baby and you have none. Where at least if you cook a vegetable, you still have about 1,000 to 2,000 angstroms of energy. But if you apply the law of physics and you're eating, if you need about 7,000 angstroms of energy to have out-of-body experiences and to be happy, and I don't even know if you can have out-of-body at 7, and you're eating 1,000 to 2,000 every day, where are you getting your energy? From your consciousness. You're not getting it from chemistry or physics. And so that's a big deal, you know. And so it's obvious that the first order of business in getting healthy is to change your perception and your ideas on health and foods. And the first rule is to get rid of the cooked as much as possible. Get rid of the dead animals as much as possible. Get rid of the milks, dairies completely, period. These are some of the things you have to do to walk to Wellville. Even if you don't want to do herbs or do herbs, whatever, you still want to look at what you're consuming, because it's all physics and chemistry. These are the two main sciences that we've created out of the discovery of magnetics and chemistry. She has included an endocrine gland form, the pituitary, smart girl here, thyroid and female, smart girl. Now, this needs to be your sister taking these. You can take them, but it's just going to make you healthy as a horse. But your sister's the one in trouble, and she's the one that needs to take these. She's preparing for the donation, but I would make my sister make her own eggs healthy and strong, because she has to carry. And if she is in a pituitary position where she's her menses is irregular, you can you have to be concerned whether she's going to be able to carry to term or have a miscarriage. And it might not be about the egg at all, too. So you have to look at these things as well. I think in preparation for this, even if you do this, your sister ought to go on the same program for a while and at least, fix herself to carry your egg. These are some of the things you have to think about, I think. I'm not happy with the process of donation, which includes injection of hormones and going on the pill, which I have never been on, but this is something I want to do for her. Well, you're a very spiritual one, and I appreciate the love that you have here, but I think it's also important to make other souls, because this is another soul. Might be your sister, but this is a totally another individual that needs to learn how to make their bodies healthy. And what's happened is we, out of the love of our hearts, those spiritual people tend to give. We do, we tend to give and things like this. But there's a point where you must turn and make the other person take care of themselves. Like this one case I have where the mother was going to give the son a kidney. And it's like, are you serious? And I was talking to him just to talk to him about that. And I asked the mother, are you serious? She said, well, yes. I said, do you not understand? You're from the same genetic tree. You're the genetic donor of this. So you already have weak kidneys. And you're donating a genetically out of the same genetic line. And this is some of the stuff AMA doesn't think about, because this is common sense. And if you don't think about that, so the mother gives up one of her kidneys, which each kidney controls each side of the body lymphatically. So you can imagine when you remove one, the problem that you have lymphatically. So this isn't, and no one that gives up a kidney is ever happy, ever really feels robustly healthy. You might see one or two, but most people don't. They come in here. I hear stories all the time about that. And so it's not a happy thing. So we all have to learn to make our own selves healthy, because it's just a need to wake up to a certain extent for each and every one of you as souls. Or, you know, being lost in creation is not a fun thing, really. The drama can be powerful, but that old spiritual saying, is it better to know or better not to know? Sometimes when you know things, it doesn't make you real happy, because you know things that many don't. You see things and understand things, and sometimes you can't share those things always. And I don't know what to say about it. But taking hormones and stuff is only going to wreck your life and wreck your adrenal glands. So I don't know what to say about it. I don't like anything they do. I think they're nuts. I think everybody needs to take responsibility for themselves and rebuild their own tissues. With that said, I think you're a heck of a good woman to do something like that for your sister. That your sister needs to repay you by getting herself healthy, and maybe trying to deal with this the proper way before you have to go through this, because that's a lot to ask a person to go through toxic procedures. And going on hormones just shuts your glands down. So it's not good for anyone there. And then it's not letting your sister do anything for herself. She's not learning how to fix herself and to rebuild her egg storage and her health of the eggs and her health, period. You know, the ability to carry to term and all these things that implies, plus the condition of the uterus and the health of the uterus and all of that, all of that. My question is, what would you suggest I do to prepare my body for these horrible hormones, to make sure my body returns to as healthy as possible? If you have to do this and your sister isn't going to help herself, then I'd recommend that you back yourself up with the adrenal gland. Do the 400s or something, the adrenal glandular. Back that adrenal glandular up, because you can't back that up with more hormones. That'll just weaken everything even more. So you only have the option of using herbs or glandulars. Glandulars are definitely cellular, so that I would think that in the use of hormones you would want to use a glandular. But I'd caution you to be real careful there, because these guys are crazy, and it's easy to get a person to conceive. I have never in my entire almost 50 years getting a woman to conceive. Not that way, but I mean, women that come in here and fertile, hey, that's easy. I've never had a female that we haven't been able to have her have a normal, healthy pregnancy and everything else. I've just never seen that. So if your sister will take a little time and just wait, she'll save you a lot of trouble, and she will fix herself, and then she can feel proud that it's her world, her life, her kid, her thing, and she took care of the problems, and she doesn't have to pass genetics, because even though it's your egg, there's still going to be genetics here all the way. And that's the other problem. You're bringing in some cross genetics here, but it's still family, though. Now, thanks so much for your time. Oh, anytime, sweetheart. I hope I didn't upset you, but I still say that, your sister needs to take some time and get her own ability to carry and to have healthy eggs up. If it's a male problem, but it sounds like it's your sister's problem, which is interesting because you're of the same tree. So interesting. It'd be interesting for you to get your picture of your eyes and your sister's eyes and look at who got what genetically, and take a look at her ovaries and uterus and look at her pituitary, because you hit it right on here. You guys are getting really smart, and it's just this world is going to have a hard time with smart people like you guys, really. Here's Krysta. Hi, Krysta. Dr. Morse, first of all, thank you for answering my questions any time, honey. I'm just sorry that I haven't get them quicker, I would love to get your opinion on my ongoing swelling on my face and fingers that I've been experiencing after going on a grape fast about 2 years ago. Back in May 2013, started on all grape fast. You mean like this one? The grape cure one? It's funny, I was just thinking about that this morning. Followed up your herbal program. I did this for 5 months straight. I did not cheat once. During this time, I experienced major weight loss, about 30 to 35 pounds. I had lost my period for months. This is common stuff, though, for females when they go on a detoxification to lose the period. It's like the body just shuts down all this stuff and starts cleaning itself. You know, it just, your body goes through it naturally. We were talking about that yesterday on a video where this one herbalist doesn't believe in detoxing. It's like, excuse me, you can't stop it. It's not something you can control. I mean, you can control it by eating so bad your body can't detox, but then you'll get to a point where it'll force it, or it'll make you so sick that it'll kill you. So you just can't stop these sort of things. It's how nature, and of course cleansing is a natural part of life. You know, it's just a natural cycle that all things go through. Lakes go through it, rivers go through it, streams go through it, plants go through it, everything goes through it, goes through those processes. My energy levels increased after about the second month. I used to suffer with chronic lower back. Now, so you already know it's kidney and adrenals, right? Because chronic lower back. So you already know that there was a kidney and adrenal problem here. That went away after about a week or so. By day 8 of the fast, I started to get overwhelming pains in my transverse colon area that continued throughout the 5 months, at least twice a day. Well, you know, get your eyes, but that's seriously, that whenever you go on these programs like this and you go on raw foods and you go on fruits and things that are higher vibrational and nutritionally, it's going to start making actions take place in your body. Ionization is going to be taking place. You're going to see a lot of hydration taking place, a lot of burning of electrolytes. There's just all kinds of things going on to bring proper hydration interstitially, to break up solidified mucus that's been developing in the body from stagnant lymph. You can just go on and on and on with that. The collection of heavy metals or neurotoxins from the foods in the air and everything else you're ingesting, all these sort of things the body has to get rid of or store or find something to do with them. And to have pain like that in the colon means that's right where your problem is. That is a big area of concern that you have. The transverse colon is a common place for resections. That and the sigmoid area and the rectal area, these three areas are very common places. Even some of the cecum, where the appendix is tied to, is also a common place. Okay, coming. So that would be yeah, an area you want to work on. So I would get the stomach and bowel #1 and start working on my GI tract a little bit here. I am not sure if that was a healing crisis or what. No, I don't think so. I mean, a healing crisis shouldn't last that long. Now, if you go into a healing crisis where you're starting to experience a discomfort or you feel an area that's weak that the body's working on, these type of healing crises, they should go in and out no more than 2 weeks. So to have, and the thing is, if you have a healing crisis, you have 2 choices. Let it go and go through it. Stop your herbs and everything else. Stay real light on fruits and let it work itself through. The second option you would have is to keep with the herbs, keep pounding the fruit, and really push that baby on through there. You have another option to kick back, go on some steamed vegetables and stuff, and stop the healing crisis. So how interesting is when you start consuming foods that are pretty dead, it stops the body from healing itself. I mean, these are things you can witness. These aren't things you guess. These are things you watch and observe. They're factual. You see them all the time. So it just goes into the fact that energy / chemistry controls everything. And the lack thereof, of course, equals death at one level or another, right? So it's just that sort of thinking. So this is a big problem for you in that area. And a healing crisis that long, I would say no. This is the thing. And so I don't know if you kick back on the diet, which is kind of holding that there. That'll hold a healing crisis there. Or this is where you really have some serious problems. When you have that much discomfort that long, I think this is where you have a serious problem. This is where a lot of people have very serious chronic problems. And by the way, that directly impacts the head. And so hard to drain sinuses, pituitaries go down, pineals go down. So all these things go down when the bowels get chronic, particularly the transverse bowel. And so this is a real important area that you've got to fix. I would definitely use the herbs to settle all that down, or go buy you some aloe vera plants and scrape the aloe out of the leaves and take it down, or go buy you some high quality aloe vera juice. Mix that with maybe some slippery elm and marshmallow, or our stomach tea, or our heal all tea, and start consuming that small amounts throughout the day, sipping that, and doing some healing going on in there. Because grapes are very, very powerful, and it can bring out these areas of weakness. But this is, you need to settle that down a little bit, temper that down a little bit. You got it turned on and rocking and rolling, but it sounds like there's stagnation and some deterioration maybe in that area. You just have to look at your eye pictures and see what you're seeing there, and that'll tell you that area. But when you have this kind of pain in an area like that, I can tell you that more than likely it's an area that you have some serious problems with. You know, on a spiritual level, I felt more calm and at peace and not involved with drama like I used to, and it does. That's the beauty about fruits. It just calms the nervous system down. You know, proteins stimulate and make you erratically nervous and stuff like that. They're acidic, they're stimulants and stuff like that. And that's what we generally go to proteins for, stimulation, not to mention the neurotransmitters from the killing of the animals and how that picks us up from neurotransmitters. Can't do it that way, though, and still remain healthy. But the fruit, it just calms you. It increases nerve function. Strong nerves makes for calm. Not excitement, it makes for calm. Your babies raised on raw foods will be calm, not like a little baby scurrying all over the place. They will be calm. I mean, that you see that in babies, you see it in adults. I experienced it myself. It's a calmness that settles over you. It's an energetic calmness. It's a consciousness calmness. Yeah, it's not a jittery mental thinking. You know, the more agitated your nervous system is, it stimulates the central, which stimulates the mind, and it causes for chattering of the mind. So to calm the mind, that's why people fast. It's also, fasting calms the mind, which calms and allows the consciousness to come through a little more. That's for those that can't control the mind. You see how that works. The only disappointment was I could not get my kidneys to filter, and that's probably why the swelling. Probably just why the swelling. Is you've got the lymph on the run, but you couldn't get it filtering, and so it's, you're lost, you're stuck in space. And you just got to keep pounding those kidneys at all costs. Get the herbal formulas and go after those kidneys, because if you can't filter, nothing ever good comes of this. So whatever you do, in my opinion, honey, you got to hit those kidneys and get those kidneys working. And because that, as you guys are seeing, this is a big deal. And all the counselors here now, they've seen it so much. I've had other physicians go, man, I had a physician in, she was an RN for years, and then in Ireland, and she says, my God, when you put my attention toward the kidneys, I see it everywhere. And it says, that's it. You know, and we come in here, and people just come in. They never even heard of us. They come in, they want to know what we're about. They're kidneys. So you got to get that going. And I was not able to see my results with my vitiligo. Well, that's head area. And until you fix that colon and you get this head straightened around and you work on that pituitary, you're not going to see a change there. And that takes a little while. Don't give up. You just a short run here on grapes. You plan in for the next year, digging in, getting it cleaned up, get your kidneys filtering, get this colon fixed up so the brain can drain so you can work on that pituitary to get rid of the vitiligo. I did not have any major healing crisis like that, but I think you got one in that bowel area that's telling us we got a problem here we need to fix. Again, get a picture of your eyes, sweetheart. You got to home in on this. Like I was expecting, but when I broke the fast, I did do it properly with all fruits, good lady. It was not until I started eating salads, look at there, when I started to swell on my face. Yeah, you know why? I can tell you why. You swell all over. Your ankles, face, chest, fingers swell on her. Well, here's the difference, and everybody beat me up, remember, years ago about the fruits, but here's the thing. Fruits keep you detoxing. Even so little, it still keeps you detoxing. Right there shows you that when you went to the vegetables, it stopped detoxing. Well, you weren't filtering. So you got everything moving and then you stopped. And you went back to vegetables, which you think, well, I'm on raw, I'm on vegetables. You see the difference right there, guys? And this is a good case for Krysta to show you the difference of vegetables versus fruit. Krysta, you got to get back up to the fruit and get this thing going. Once you get your kidneys filtering, moving, then you can go back to the vegetables and you should be okay. But you got everything on the run, and then you step back to a source of energy and chemistry that is not astringent rich and doesn't have that same power, and so everything's just kind of hanging in limbo, and that's acids, and everything's swelling up with that. This is not good. You don't want this. You get right back up to the fruits. You start getting this kidneys filtering. Get on the kidney formulas. Get on the lymphatic formulas and get moving with this. And I do not like that bowel pain that long. That's not healing crises are healing crises, guys. But there's also weaknesses and deterioration that people have in them from years of proteins and things. And so, you know, they could be pulling these up and experiencing these. This is the value of the eyes and learning about the eyes. I thought it was the sodium from the salad dressing and jarred banana peppers. Unfortunately, I did go back to eating meats and cheeses at an alarming rate. Ooh, yeah. You know, you can hurt yourself doing that, Krysta. Yeah, you want to back away from all of that. You see how your body doesn't like anything you're doing? It liked what you were doing, but it doesn't like what you're doing now. You got to just get yourself back. And do a parasitic formula to help you with the craving for these things, okay? But you really get up on there and get your kidneys filtering, get more up on the fruits and stuff, get more of a program set up for yourself so you can go down a regimented program. That'll fix the kidneys and get your bowels cleaned up and fix all these things, get the swelling out of here. But this is a good case to show you what happens in detox, because I can't remember always everything to tell you about things. But when you ask me, it brings me up, you know, thoughts that's stored in the past. But it's enough to say that this is another problem about when to hold them and when to fold them in healing crisis. And you have to be careful, because if you come back too far, you can hurt yourself. You can get yourself swollen and everything, because you started getting everything working and then you step back. So just get yourself back going. Get everything working again, but make sure your kidneys are filtering however long it takes you. You just got to do this. That's key uno number one, just my opinion, you know. I did come to my senses after a few months and went back to a half raw, half cooked vegan diet. Well, that's why you're swollen. You know, you just got to get back to the raw and fix your kidneys and fix all this, and then you can go back and eat some crap and you'll be okay. But you got to fix some things now. I suggest you get more focused on fixing things and get all that done. Get yourself filtering and get your lymph, get your picture of your eyes so you can see what you're up against, and go that way, honey. And really get focused on your diet, because what you're doing here, and don't blame sodium for swelling. I would blame acidosis. I mean, you could have a sodium-potassium imbalance, but where would you go for that? Kidneys and adrenals. Kidneys and adrenals, the same place you have to go, period, anyway, right? But I say this is more about acidosis and what you started to get the lymph on the run. When you start a grape fast, you're going to get your lymph on the run. When you do that, and then you pull back and go back down to even the meats and the cheeses, you're lucky you didn't get your butt kicked worse. This is you know, you got to be careful about going back too far back when you're already. But if you haven't had a long time of being pure, it's probably not going to hurt you much. But if you were like a few years being raw and you kick back that far, you're going to get your butt kicked. And wasn't it, what's his name, that died from breaking a fast with boiled potatoes? McFadden? That's the story anyway. I eat anything cooked, even steamed veggies. I still smell even after almost 2 years. Shows you how much protein and acids you have in your body, but I think the swelling shows that to us anyway. So I think that's just showing that you have too much protein in your body, too much acids in your body, and you got to get them out. And if you still stink, you haven't cleaned your lymph nodes good enough. And so that's the problem. Remember the tonsils and the stink and all that? All lymph nodes. This is sewage, guys. This is the sewer system. And this is the sewer system that blows back and gets us bad. Let me see. I still swell even after almost 2 years. This isn't good. You got to get up there, sweetheart. Get up there and get this out of you now. Don't play around with this. That I cannot handle cooked foods anymore. Hello. If you get past this, you get yourself up there and really go on a program. Get yourself to Wellville. Then you can go back and have some steamed and stuff. Then it's not going to kick you because you haven't got yourself fixed yet. And you're just going to go back and your symptoms are going to come back and everything's going to come back on you because you haven't fixed yourself. fix yourself and you're good. You want to fix yourself so good, guys, that you can go out and have a Big Mac, and you might feel sick and throw it up, but at least it won't kill you. Okay, swelling comes from, but do you think that is my body's way of telling me that I cannot handle cooked foods anymore? It's a way of telling you your body can't handle any of this anymore. You need to detox it and clean it up a little bit, Krysta. And maybe I cleaned it out too good amount that I need to stay with all fruits. Well, you need to stay with all fruits. You've got your lymph starting to honk on and everything, and then you stopped. I actually went back and filling it up worse. So now you're kind of in that limbo where the body doesn't quite know. So just kick it up another notch. Get yourself back on that focus and carry yourself on down that road. Get your kidneys filtering, pee in a jar, you know, all that kind of good stuff, and get yourself turned around. I'm working on my way back to only eating fruits and herbs. There's no question that's when I feel the best. Is it true? And it's me too. I feel the same way with that. I have to run here, unfortunately, but I'll come back, and I've got all week. Hey, Dr. Morse, I need your help. I'm almost raw, vegan, 22 years old, high fruit. I take some herbs and some of your formulas. However, I have tinnitus and ringing in the ears, and read that the nerve damage is from damaged myelin sheath. Is this true, and how do I help myself with this? I am desperate. Thank you. Oh, this is Levi. Listen, Levi, tinnitus, pressure, lymphatic pressure. You can have weakened myelin sheaths, but that doesn't have to create tinnitus. But what would create weakened myelin sheaths or a decay in that? It's always going to be low neurotransmitters from the adrenal glands and acidosis, those two things in conjunction. So you're always going to want to hit your adrenals and kidneys, and you want to bring your adrenals up so your blood pressure is 120 to 130 over 60 to 70. You want to know that you're pumping well. Get a picture of your eyes, Levi, see if you have nerve rings in there. But lymph pressure can create tinnitus, and pressure in the head, you know, and pressure in the back of the skull is where it starts. And this is the cerebellum, and this is where your equilibrium center, the optic nerves swing around here, so your eyes can be affected. I mean, it's a mess. So you have to drain the brain, so to speak, lymphatically. And that's to get the kidneys, work on those neurolymphatic points down your back, hot and cold compresses on the back of the head, get your kidneys filtering, start opening up these doorways of lymph so all this pressure can come out of there. If you do have myelin sheath breakdown, rebuild it. And then rebuilding it, brain and nerve number 2, but also get those adrenals up there. Get those adrenals neurotransmitters up there more. What else we got? Ringing in the, yeah, same thing. Yeah, it's just, yeah, all that is pressures and stuff like this. And you just make healthy and take that, get that lymph moving, because these are pressures that are not like blood pressures. These are the head pressures. These are the pressures in the body that decay the cells, stuff like that, Levi. So really get up, get your kidneys filtering, just like the lady before you. Get your lymph moving, particularly out of this head area, because nothing ever good comes when you stay acidic in the head. This is Grand Central Station. All right? All right, you'll be good, but work on those neurolymphatics down the back, work on hot and cold compresses on the back of the skull. Really go after your lymphatic system heavily. And then to do that, you have to hit the adrenals, which will increase neurotransmitters, which will then increase myelin sheath permeability. I mean, you'll become strong there. Well, I love you guys. I'm going to run here. I know I only got a few done, but I'll keep on plowing the field. Thanks, guys, for putting up with me, and thanks for going after your own health. You know, that's what you need to inspire others to go after their own health. That you can't do it all for everyone. People have to do their own worlds, and you have to allow for that and incite that in others, that they need to have their own journey to Wellville. With great love to each and every one of you, have a great, great day. Bye-bye.